Premed Office Hours. It is Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. My name is Dr. Ryan Gray, founder of Medical School Headquarters, author of the Premed Playbook series, including one of these books, personal statement book, got an interview book over there, got an application process book, books everywhere. Yeah. Kristen Anderson, former director of admissions at Norda College of Osteopathic Medicine, Premed expert extraordinaire. How you doing, my friend?
Hanging in there, doing all
Hanging
right.
in.
Cold and flu season is upon us, and it got me.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you mentioned it's February. I cannot believe it is February.
It's ridiculous.
I don't understand.
Yeah,
I don't understand time.
Not a fan at how fast this is going. Yet here we are, and so we'll make the best of it. But it is February, and for those who are applying this upcoming cycle, they're potentially starting to freak out, including our friend Christian. I'm sorry, Christian. Why did Application Academy get canceled? Yeah. Application Academy mostly got canceled because nobody signed up for Application Academy. It was one of those things where we started off with a bang several years ago with Academy. And every single year, numbers have gone down, 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 down. We lost money on Academy last year. And then this year, we had almost nobody sign up. So no bueno. One of our Academy graduates, Vanity Nutrition, popping in to say hello. And what to the above RE Academy. Yeah.
It's a bummer.
It's a bummer. I was excited. I was going to do it myself this year. Partly because the numbers were way down. So it's like, hey, for the advisors to go back and go see your students, and also potentially just maybe that was the reason some of the numbers were down. It was confusing. It's like, what do you mean? Like, I thought this was for Dr. Gray, and there's all these other people here, and it's just, so we went back to just me, and apparently I'm not good enough anymore.
And then even fewer people signed up.
So yeah, that's it. So we'll continue to figure out how to provide more value. Obviously, that's kind of the core of what we do. We were talking about it this morning at our advising meetings, some of the content that we're working on and putting out and all that stuff. So yeah. Austin asks, hello, my mother passed when I was 11 and my father got remarried. Should I put all three parents down on AMCAS? Kristen, it's possible to put.
Yeah. You can put a deceased parent. First, sorry for your loss. That's rough.
Yeah.
But yeah,
welcome to the Dead Dad Club.
Yep.
I'm a founding
of which
member.
I'm a member.
I joined at 17 though, so Austin beat me.
Yeah.
At 11. Yeah. Yeah, you can put all three. I don't think it matters. Ultimately,
I don't think it's
a lot of that data is there for just AMCAS purposes or ACOMAS and all that stuff. Does ACOMAS ask for parents? I think it does.
It does, yeah. And there is an option to list if they are deceased. So that's not something that's going to make or break an application. I don't know why you would feel motivated not to include it necessarily. I think, to your point, it's data.
It is data. I want to come back to Application Academy getting canceled, and just we're continuing to work on stuff. I want to share the newest tool that actually just went live like last night. So if it breaks, don't blame me. One of the things that we noticed last year, Kristen, was the number of students who came to us for essay editing. It's something we can track on our back end. And we saw a relatively dramatic shift down last year compared to other years.
Yeah.
And so the question was, from a business perspective, right? Did we do something wrong? Is there a competitor out there that's taking away all of our essay editing? But I think the most obvious answer was, oh, there's this thing called ChatGPT out there, and Claude and Gemini and all this stuff.
Yeah.
was the fact that students were just going to ChatGPT, pasting in their essay and going, "Hey, generic ChatGPT, edit my essay for me. Give me some feedback."
Yep.
And so I'm a huge fan of AI. I use it all the time, every day. Try to do a bunch of fun stuff. And so I said, you know what? If students are going to use AI anyway to edit their essays, I think the coolest thing would be, let's train an AI on how we edit essays. And so we fed it, I think we had 17,000 data points from all of the comments, right? And Kristen,
Wow.
I don't even know if you know this. When you
No.
leave comments on an essay, I take those comments and throw them into a database so that I can see what you're highlighting and I can see the comment that you leave on it. So we have all those data points. So we took those data points, we fed it to an AI. We took my book on how to write a personal statement and fed it to an AI. And I'm pretty proud of what we came up with. We spent a good chunk of money to work with a company who helped us create this tool. But if you go to medicalschoolhq.net right now, and you click on our free resources here on the top left, you will see Personal Statement AI. Let me zoom in here, right? You'll see Personal Statement AI right there. So if you click on that, it takes you right here, right? This is trained on our method of feedback. So you can go now for free, put in an email address, and it will log you in. It'll send you a quick little link to get. Let me go grab that link from my email. Copy link, bring it back over here. And it logs you in here to be able to take an essay. You can classify MCAS, ACOMAS, TMD, SAS. Doesn't really do much right now in terms of does it really matter? Ultimately, it doesn't, because it's the same essay.
The same.
Why do you want to be a doctor? Paste in your essay, and then it takes probably 20, 30 seconds to then create a some high level thoughts on showing versus telling, structure, authenticity, professionalism, application centeredness. This is a huge issue in a lot of applications. It's like, hey, this essay is all about this patient and this doctor. I don't see you there. Our biggest feeling, right, is reflection.
Yep.
That makes all the difference in the world. So hopefully for you all, this again is a free tool for you to go use. There's no limits on use. I hope we never have to have limits on use. We'll monitor how much money we're spending on AI. But then you can see it tries to find spots in the essay in terms of what's being said, what maybe is expected, how it's being interpreted, all that kind of stuff. So then this is kind of what we would do on a personal statement. It's not a human. It's not perfect. But it gives you an idea whether or not, I think, the student, you're on the right track. And obviously we're here if you want some polishing and feedback on what you're seeing. So go check it out. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, we're excited.
I
I think it's good because, yeah, you can throw an essay into ChatGPT and it if you're not prompting it enough, it's just going to say, this is a good essay, and here's how you can, improve your grammar.
Yeah, I mean, ChatGPT is known to be overly friendly.
Yep.
And we're still finding some of that. I know we were talking about it this morning in our call. We're still finding that the AI tool is still a little bit kind of ranking essays a little bit higher than we normally would. And so we'll continue to tweak and do all that kind of stuff. So Christian says, awesome tools is for personal statements only or activities as well. Right now, it's just personal statements. We wanted to kind of focus on one thing, make sure that's working. After you use the tool, we'll send you some emails and we'll ask for feedback at the end and activities, secondaries, interview prep. Like if there are other tools that we can build along the same kind of lines, just give us that feedback. Let us know if it's working and if you'll use it. Ultimately, I'm willing to spend the money to make these things if it's useful for you all, and you're doing it. So hopefully that's helpful. All right. Sobernaut popping in to say thank you for your books, podcasts, and these live streams. This geriatric late 30s guy just got my first MD acceptance. Fan-freaking-tastic. That is amazing. Applause going. Congrats. That's awesome. A laundrograt. When reflecting in the activity sections, should it be longer than a sentence due to character count? I'm not sure whether it's best to cut a story shorter to be able to reflect better. What do you think about this, Kristen? I generally think a sentence usually is pretty impactful if it's done right.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That we do need some context, so the story is important, but takeaway doesn't need to be 3, 4, 5 sentences if you do it right. We just need to know what was the impact of the experience. How did you impact others? How did you grow? What did you learn? Effectively, why should we care that you did that experience?
Yeah. I'm making just a quick little scroll across the bottom. Tell people. All right. Michelle's house. How you doing, my friend? Many of the students do not think they need help with essays, etc. They don't know what they don't know. Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, no, that's a huge part of it, right? Is just a huge blind spot for students. And unfortunately, right, it is a barrier for us because we have bias and are incentivized by students doing feedback with us. And so my hope is that with a free tool that is trained relatively accurately to how we give feedback. Let me take a step back. There are a lot of tools online that are trained in a way to scare people into, oh my gosh, you have to spend money with us or else you're not going to get into med school and you're going to die a 80-year-old reject. I'm not a big fan of fear marketing. And so our tool is trained pretty accurately, right? If you're good, you're good. If you're not, you're not. And so my hope is that with it being a relatively low barrier free tool to use, that students can get what they need and start to understand a little bit more so that it starts to peel back some of the layers and open up some of those blind spots. And whether they come to us for clarity on their essay or they go to their advisor for clarity on their essay, we'll see. I mean, my hope potentially is that all the advisors at universities are sending students to this because it helps them, right? Kristen,
I would have loved to have this. Yeah.
You were at a school, not a huge school, and I'm sure you were stretched thin in terms of all of the essays that you could have been reading, and you have to limit yourself at some point to go, hey, all of the students applying this cycle, I can only do one edit of your personal statement, right? A lot of schools have that sort of policy just because of the number of students. And so hopefully this is a tool that the advisors can trust to send their students. And I sent it to one advisor friend of mine, and she was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This gives feedback similar to what I would give. So we'll see. Ben Klein, if I had a work study job involving mentoring 5th grade students, would it be considered volunteer community service, even if I'm getting paid by the school?
Paid means not volunteer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're being compensated. Therefore, you're not volunteering.
Yeah. It is paid employment. So that is what it is. Yeah. Okay. If my last 4 semesters individually as a full-time student have a GPA of 3.6 to 3.7, does that count as an upward trend, or do I need more classes in a post-bac? It's a great question,
Maybe.
right? I think there's a lot of confusion that the post-bac is the end all be all. I'll talk to sophomore students that have struggled early on, but have figured out what they need to do to move forward successfully. And I tell them, like, use your last 2 years as your post-bac, right? Think of it as your post-bac and get that trend going. You said maybe to this answer. What's the maybe here? How does
Well,
someone
it's
whether or not they need more?
I feel like we need a lot more information. Like, what was your GPA beforehand? Where is your
Mm,
GPA landing now? Because am I understanding that the last 4 semesters have the 3.6, 3.7, but I don't know if your previous semesters were a 1.0. Like,
mm.
I don't know what that looks like. So where are you landing overall? Yes, it is an upward trend, right? Assuming you started lower and now your most recent semesters are higher. But the question of, do I need more classes? I think is where I need more information to know, are you where are you landing overall?
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that's the question, right? Is okay, 3.6, 3.7, last 4 semesters. Maybe they're a finance major, and all of their
Yeah.
last 4 semesters are all like finance, economics type stuff, not hard sciences.
Mhm.
That's a different question, right? There's so much nuance to
Mhm.
the feedback that we just need a little bit more information there. And I think you kind of mentioned that is okay. Last 4 semesters, you do say full-time student, so that assumes 12 credits
Yeah.
there. So, but let's say they didn't say full-time student. Well, are the last 4 semesters 1 class apiece?
Yeah.
So lots of nuance. I want to talk about a school. I'm gonna throw a school under the bus.
Wee.
Uh,
Where are we
whee!
going?
It's like going down the slide. Let me see. I just wanna make sure there's no identifiable information here. I received a screenshot, um, from a student. I'm gonna block out some stuff here just in case. Um, Let me block out all of that at the top. That's not what I wanted. Oh, duh. All right. I received a screenshot. Actually, it was a question first that came in a Facebook group,
Mm,
um, where they were saying, "Hey, a med school is asking to provide. Do you have any acceptances anywhere else?" And to
mm,
list those, and whether or not you have decided to uh, accept the offer that you're on or anything else. Let me share this screenshot. I'm just triple checking and making sure there's nothing else on here, and I'm 99% sure there isn't. So here is the uh, thing in question. So this is from Hofstra. No, this is from Hofstra? Zucker. Hofstra. Zucker. What?
somewhere.
Hofstra is Zucker. um, Zucker School of Medicine. And this is a waitlist survey. If you're on the waitlist, you get this survey. Hey, are you interested in our school? Right. And you can see it's checked off here. Right here, interested in, let me circle here. Interested with other offers,
Mm,
or interested with no other offers at present, or you're telling Zucker to go fly a kite and declining the waitlist position. And then it says, please list the schools where you are currently holding spots. And then have you selected to plan to enroll in any of these? Kristen, I'm sure you're aware the whole choose your med school tool.
Yeah.
The whole choose your med school tool was created to get rid of this.
Yep.
All of this information used to be available to schools. They could see where you were holding other seats. But then some smart lawyers got together and said, you know what? This is probably not the most legal thing.
Yeah.
There's some collusion stuff, anti-competitiveness, very similar if you think about what's happening in college athletics, where a school and the whole transfer portal. Back in the day, school students would have to like sit out a year before they could actually participate if they transferred. And the lawyer said, hey, you know what? That is preventing people from lawful employment. So they changed all of that. And similar thing here is if this school is using this data to go, you know what? We're not going to offer a seat to the student because they're probably not going to come to our school. That's not cool.
Yeah.
So for all of you on Zucker's waitlist, select this one, interested with no other offers.
It's not their business. They don't
None
need
of
to
their
know that
business.
right now.
Yeah. And put Nunya. None. Oh, man. My little thing. Nunya. I don't know how to spell Nunya. But anyway, it's none of their business. This is not, you're not under oath with this. None of their business. So do me a favor. Don't play this game. Nothing bad can happen if they find out later that you're like, oh, you selected no other offers. Like, okay, yeah.
And yeah.
And what's your point? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think it's one thing to say, you know, I have an offer I'm happy with, take me off your wait list. That's a whole other, you know, thing, but this is crazy.
Yeah. Michelle's house, could this be for scholarships? Like if the school really wants you, they now know to offer scholarships. No. I mean, could it be? Potentially, but no.
Yeah, maybe, but no.
Yeah. All right. Vanity says, just put my personal statement into the AI tool. It's pretty cool, and I'm glad I already have an acceptance. Glad you tried it out. Thanks for checking it out. Hey, Dr. Gray, I love this community you've built. I miss Application Academy. Your team is the best. Oh, thanks, Blue Mango, applying DO. I think if your mangoes are blue, you might want to skip them.
Yeah, might not be any good.
I think might be a little off there. Applying DO, can I use the LOR from other science based on a COMIS classification professor to fulfill science letter of recommendation requirement? Kristen, former director and dean of admission at a DO school. Thoughts on this? The DO application a little bit different in course classification, where they have the other science kind of label on things. Is that enough for science LOR?
You know, it's that famous answer of it depends. The answer that everyone hates. It depends on the school. So some schools will say, yeah, that's fine, as long as it's classified under other science and they taught a course that was an other science course. Fantastic, because that goes into the science GPA. Others will say, no, it does need to be from kind of what we would call a hard science, biology, chemistry, physics. So it really, with letters of recommendation, it is your responsibility to make sure you are meeting the individual letter requirements for the schools, and then kind of digging in and seeing what, so if they say science professor, what do they mean by that? Yep. So
yeah,
I wish there was a hard and fast rule on this, but everyone varies so much that you really do have to do your homework.
That is true, unfortunately.
Yep.
All right. I wanted to throw out there to everyone. We have, again, going back to one of our missions is lots of free content and helping students. We do that through application renovation, which is back, by the way. It's back. I recorded my first episode. It was a long one too. It was like an hour-long episode. I'm like, holy moly, I got to cut these down. But it was an interesting one. And I think it was a very different one for me because the student had like a 502 MCAT score. And I think the most obvious thing for people is, oh, it's the 502. But it's not always that, right? It's like, let's dive a little bit deeper. And so there were a lot of things in there for that. But we have application renovation, obviously pre-med years podcast we put out, PS or BS. We've been rocking and rolling, getting those. We have lots of submissions for PS or BS. Always can use more. But not application renovation. We have a mini mock interview show where sign up. It's a 30-minute call with the advisor. It's a free mock interview with the advisor, so you can practice your answers. We're recording it. We're going to put it out on YouTube and use it for content. But it's, again, one of those ways that we make content for everyone to benefit from. So go check it out. I just put the link out there. All right. Let's see. Austin, my university transcript shows AP class credit as one big block, 15 credits. How does AMCAS know verify I took the classes I self-report for my prereqs? Kristen, not every school accepts AP credits as prereqs.
Yep.
How is a student supposed to do this? And for schools that do accept the AP credit as a prereq, how are they supposed to let the school know, hey, in this big block of 15 credits, my AP physics is hiding in there?
Yeah. So first and foremost, utilize the applicant guide for AMCAS and the Applicant Help Center for ACOMAS. It will walk you through.
Tool.
Say that again.
It's a good insomnia tool.
It is. They are robust. Yes. I'll have to remember that next time I have insomnia.
I don't know if you know the AAMC actually converted their applicant guide to an online tool similar to ACOMAS's.
I did not know
that. Instead of a giant PDF, it's all like categorized similar to ACOMAS.
Oh, nice.
Where you just click around.
Yeah. So I would use that. At the end of the day, you really need to be entering your coursework as it is shown on your official transcript. So at the university I worked at, it was a little bit interesting that on the unofficial transcript, the student could see the course for which they were given credit for their AP scores. But then on the official transcript, it did have this block of credits. So they would just enter AP credit, 15 credits or whatever, just following the instructions for the application service itself. And then internally, schools in their portals often will have ways for you to identify which courses you believe satisfy their prerequisites. But you do need to verify that whether the schools you're planning on applying to will even accept AP credit to satisfy the prereqs that they require. There are many that don't. So I would start with that.
Yep. Love this question from Texas Cowboy. Isn't that like an assumed, like, it's like saying cowboy, like Texas cowboy? Anyway, are there ways to self-reflect and evaluate how your interviews went if you were not accepted at any schools? Should I just contact the schools and ask for any feedback? Oh man, Kristen, I would say human beings are the worst at self-reflection, to give objectively some good feedback on how something went.
Yeah.
I've talked to deans about they'll get talking to deans and they'll say, oh, like we have this process for applicants to like to submit complaints about the interview day and how something went. And they said almost all of the time, the student completely misread the room to where the student says, oh my gosh, my interviewer was so mean. It went so bad. They did this, they did that. It was terrible. And the feedback on the interview was student was great. Right. And I think sometimes, right, the interviewer could be playing a bit, right?
Yep.
Could be trying to stress the student out, could be trying to poke the bear, so to speak. But we just, when our cortisol and adrenaline are going, because we're in that situation, right? Our body does not know the difference between being in a med school interview and being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, right?
Yep.
It's the same exact response. I don't know. Contact the schools. Kristen, unfortunately, most schools are like, we don't have the bandwidth to provide feedback, but I think you should still ask anyway.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask. The worst they can say is no, right?
Yeah.
But that self-reflection is a beast. I have a lot of students I've worked with that they're like, I bombed that interview, and then they turn around and get an offer. And then others, they feel like they rocked it, and then they're rejected. And that's, not to say that it all comes from the interview itself sometimes, but it's tricky. Doesn't hurt to ask, like I said, but don't be surprised if they tell you they can't give you feedback.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh, Barry Parker. I have OMS 1 classmates currently attending an accredited DO program, actively applying again. I just want to pause for a second. Remember, any DO school that has students is accredited. They might not be fully accredited. And actually, Kristen, this is something I'm going to take to our friend at ACOM. They have to change the name from pre-accreditation to preliminary accreditation, similar to the AAMC.
Yeah.
Pre-accreditation makes people think they're not accredited, but they are. They're just not fully accredited. They're in their first part of the accreditation phase.
Yeah.
I hate that language, but anyway.
It's having been at a new school, it's hard to combat.
Actively applying again to try to get into an MD for, quote, cost and specialty competitiveness. Is there really any benefit to this? So let's just talk about the stupidity of this thing. A student is in medical school. They're paying 60, 70 grand to be at that school for that first year.
Yep.
Let's say they get into another program randomly.
Yeah.
Right? They get into an MD program. First of all, they're going to have to put on their MCAT application that they got into a medical school.
Yep.
One of the questions is, have you matriculated at medical school in the past? And the student will say yes. And then they'll be like, I'm at a DO program and I just don't like it. And I want to spend less money and I want to go to a competitive program. That MD program, 99% of the time, is probably going to be like, go screw yourself.
Yep. No, thank you.
No, thank you. What's to say you get to our program and you're like, I don't like it here either.
Yep.
I'm going to apply again. My mommy said I can.
I deserve better.
This is not good enough for me. It's not Harvard.
This is crazy.
Wow.
This is crazy.
So let's assume it works. They get into an MD program.
Yep.
Well, now all of a sudden they're like, oh, it's cheaper. I'm like, is it really with the 70 grand of debt that you already have from your first year of medical school? If you added that to the cost of your MD school, it's going to be the same.
Yep. Not to mention the year of salary.
The year of lost salary, right?
Yep.
It is the most moronic thing that we hear day in and day out from people.
Yep.
I got into a DO program. I'm thinking about declining it. And this is students pre-matriculation.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about declining my acceptance. I'm going to apply again to MD programs. And I just have to question, like, who are you listening to for advice here?
Yeah. And do you wanna be a
because
physician or do you wanna be an MD? Like, really, what is
that is
it?
always
And
the question I ask.
yeah,
Exactly
yep.
that. Yeah.
And why? Why what difference does it make? And why'd you even apply to DO schools anyway? Why'd you get through all the way through that whole process to get an acceptance?
Oh my God.
It makes me crazy. Yeah.
People, you make my brain hurt. So Barry Parker, hopefully this is friends and not I have a friend.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
God. Mercy P. If you haven't seen yet, right, any good templates for writing a personal statement? Number one, I have a whole book with
Lots of examples.
this is the template. This is the guide. This is the Bible. It's always fun, Kristen, when I see university like undergrad advisors that have personal statement writing courses that they've developed that students can take for credit. It's usually like a 1-credit class.
Mhm.
And my book is like the textbook for the class. Like, ooh,
That's awesome.
I have a textbook. Yeah, go check out our tool, medicalschoolhq.net. Click on those free resources, go submit, and go from there. See what's going on. Or schedule a session with one of our team. Vanity says there's a Caribbean caveat there, though. Correct? Give me
About applying to other
information.
schools?
I don't like if you're saying caveat, like if you're in a Caribbean school to go apply to other schools, I don't think you do that either.
No.
I don't think you do that either.
Nope.
Right? There's a
Muscle
reason
through.
you're at a Caribbean school.
Yep.
Your application is not good enough for a U.S. school.
Or you were
What's gonna change?
unwilling to, yeah, you were unwilling and patient to do
Yeah.
what it took. So why? Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Expand that question a little bit more.
Yeah.
Vanity. I want to call her by her real name. I gotta call her.
Yeah, be careful.
If I blow your anonymity, Vanity, it's by accident. Barry says, "Thank you for answering my absurd question. It really is disheartening to see so many students around you who are upset about themselves because of this." Yeah, just tell them to suck it up.
Yeah.
That they are actively sabotaging their future career by having a pity party every day instead of putting full effort into their studies as a medical student, which is ultimately the thing that matters the most, is their performance, not the DO or MD at the end of their name.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting you say they're upset with themselves about that. Like they're putting way too much stock into their personal worth on 2 letters after their name.
Yeah. Oh, man. Blue Mango, is there another sale? The old sale coupon still works. Blue Mango. Don't tell anyone.
Shh.
We always keep it active for a little bit because of this. People are like, I know it ended last week. I should have done something, but
I didn't.
I was busy. Yeah, go use it. I'll put the code here. Adcom POV. Oh, we have permission to call her. Oh, wait, no, I put the wrong one up. We have permission to call her. Kristen, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you know how to pronounce her name? It's very unique, so you might not.
Is it Dania?
It is not Dania.
Okay.
It is Dania.
Dania. I should have known that too because
no, you shouldn't have
there
because it was one of those that I'm like, oh, wait. Okay.
Yep. Dania.
Yeah. Hello, Dania.
Hello.
All right. So we have Dania, and then we have another fun name, Shumate here. If I'm adopted, do I put both parents' names on the app? It's funny. We got this question twice in one day. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Not the same exact question, but you can definitely put both parents on there. Leave it up to you. You don't have to. Again, there's no magic in terms of them finding out about you being adopted and why didn't you put your biological parents on there?
Yeah.
Da, da, da. Texas Cowboy trying to assess an application for reapplication. Other than the more obvious experience deficiencies or MCAT GPA, what are some more niche aspects that can make an app less attractive to adcoms? First, I'll give a pitch for application renovation. Go over there, applicationrenovation.com. That's the series we have on YouTube. It's probably the most successful series in terms of just impact that we've had and reception of students, where I break down applications of students who didn't get in. I can think of a handful of things. Kristen, what pops to mind for you?
So other than the obvious experience deficiencies or MCAT GPA, and I assume when you say experience deficiencies, you're just talking about lack of experience. So I would say kind of the next biggest thing would be how you write about those experiences or don't write about them. Like
Mm,
I think a lot can be said for how you write and how you reflect. I think lack of reflection and
mhm.
giving lack of meaning to those experiences is a big thing.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Um, Reflection, huge. I'm not a fan of sales pitch
Hmm.
applications. Um, so potentially that the other big thing for me is arrogance. Um, an application that just reads like the student is pretty arrogant. Um, the thing that is always a blind spot for us as advisors is maybe not the actual application itself, but the letters of recommendations.
Hmm.
That's a big one. Timing, I think, would be
Yep.
a big one, as you just applied too late in the cycle and all
Took too
all of
long to
the
submit
interview spots are
interviews.
gone.
Yep.
So that is it. Benita, what do you think about preparing for medical school? I'm sure you get this question every once in a while, Kristen, or sometimes or often or whatever. Student gets in, like, okay, now how do I prepare for starting med school? Do
Yeah.
you have a thought there?
My recommendation is always enjoy the little bit of time you have left.
Mm,
Travel, have fun. It med school will be there. I mean, if you have some deficiencies, some true deficiencies, maybe getting in a little bit of pre-studying and if you need to brush up on or didn't take, say, anatomy, physiology can be helpful, but I wouldn't go crazy with it. I mean, this really truly is kind of your last little bit of time before things get real and they only get crazier and crazier once you start. So that's my advice. But
yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah. My advice: you can't prepare for medical school.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there is that too. Yeah.
Yeah, you can. There's just no way to comprehend what's coming.
Yeah.
It's like the tsunami coming in. You're like, "Oh, look at that pretty wave. Oh, it's so pretty." And then it's on top of you. You're like, "Holy crap." Oh, man.
So maybe it's getting okay with not knowing and not being prepared,
Yeah,
mentally preparing yourself for that.
yeah. Uh, I'm curious to know how Mer school Merman. Do you know what that's from?
No.
Oh, come
What
on.
is it?
Merman. Let's see if people in the comments know. Does it make me less competitive compared to? Oh, there's the first
Is what?
question. I just
Oh.
saw MER schools. I'm like, oh, I want to put that up. Non non-traditional student currently completing prerequisite coursework for medical school through the University of New England's online post-bac program. Yeah, we talked about this I think a bunch last week or 2 weeks ago. How our school is going to view the online post-bac program. They might like it. They might not. It
Yep.
depends.
Yep.
Uh, my general stance on it is that that's what worked for you to do something. That's what worked for you. Wait a minute. Jesse said, I wasn't nervous, but you have made me a little nervous now. Oh, about med school starting. Yeah, maybe. Merman. It's from Zoolander.
Oh, yes.
Veronique over on Instagram got it. Good job, Veronique.
Nice.
I'm currently working as a medical interpreter for this company, and I also assist individuals with Medicare and Medicaid related support. Would this still count as clinical? Let's separate those. So medical interpreter. Thank you for using interpreter instead of translator. Thoughts on, is it clinical?
Yeah, this is one of those kind of murky ones that, I mean, you're not providing direct clinical care to a patient. Yes, you're in a patient facing, assumed, right? Potentially that you're not remote, but patient facing position in a medical setting. So there is something to be said for that. Would I lean on this for all clinical experience? No, I would not. I think getting some more direct hands-on, ideally, more direct patient care would be beneficial. And then the second part sounds to me more like social worky kind of resource stuff.
Yep. I agree. So I would put the medical interpreter as clinical. I would maybe carve out some of the medical or Medicare related support hours from that. And then, yeah, put it as clinical and go from there. It's harder to enjoy when you're old and have to do things like sell your house, the amount of work required, and get your kids into new schools before moving.
That's fair.
Yeah. It's a lot of transition.
Yeah.
But it's building for something bigger. It's like a caterpillar going through metamorphosis. Jesse, is it really that hard? It's not hard. It's a lot. That's what I always say. I don't know if you've heard students say that, Kristen. It's not hard. It's just a lot.
Yep. Just a lot of information coming at you.
Yeah. Graduated in 2023, took the MCAT in 2024, but applying in 2027, I took a general bio class and got my EMT certification last semester, but I'm worried about the education gap. Thoughts? My first question is your MCAT probably is expired by the time you apply. So you're probably going to have to retake the MCAT, Lauren. I don't know if you realize that.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the education gap, thoughts on that, Kristen, in terms of prereqs and expiration dates? That's always a big question.
Yeah. So there are some schools that spell out when prereqs are considered quote unquote expired, where they no longer count for meeting the prerequisite course requirement. That's typically around 5 years for schools, but I would look at that. But then there's also that gap in education. Schools do sometimes have some trepidation around that gap and wondering if can you jump in and do school full time if you've not been doing school for some time. So yeah, I definitely would look at the individual schools that you're planning on applying to and seeing when do their prereqs expire. I mean, you'd be towing that line for some if they say they expire 5 years prior to, or they have to be taken at least 5 years within the last 5 years prior to matriculation, because you would be matriculating in 28. So I would be careful with that.
Yeah, this is one where starting to work on a school list sooner rather than later. Lauren, I would look at like, what is your top choice school? Start from there. I don't know. I'll bring up the MSAR just real quick. I do this every once in a while. And the AAMC hasn't yelled at
They
me
haven't
yet.
screamed at you just yet.
Cease and desist. I'm promoting the MSAR. I'm like, hey, go use the
It's a good
MSAR.
resource.
Go sign up for it.
Yeah.
And so it's just I'll briefly show a couple schools just to help you all understand what that looks like. So if I share my screen again. So here's the MSAR. So let's look at Albany, for example, just because it's alphabetical and that's the first school. The oldest MCAT. Oh, so they accept an old one. This is for the 25 cycle. No, yeah.
Yep.
This hasn't been updated yet for 26. No, the 27 cycle. I mean, this is the 26 cycle. This hasn't been updated for the 27 cycle, which is applying this May in 26.
Yep. Applying
So
26 to start in 27.
our friend here, Lauren, is applying in the 27 cycle. So this year. So let's just add a year to that. Okay. I read that wrong. I thought we were
I did
2
too.
years away from applying.
I did too.
Assuming Lauren actually used it properly, which some students do. I'm like, oh, you do know how to use that. The 27 cycle, applying in 26. So if we add a year to this, January 23, their MCAT in 24 should be fine. Yep. Alice Walton, same thing. Just add a year. ASU, add a year. So January 24, maybe not there. And Burnett, January 23. So depending on when you took it, again, there are some potentials. So this is where the MSAR comes in handy to look at that kind of stuff. So go sign up and donate some money to the AAMC. So good feedback. The MSAR also includes the oldest prereq kind of expectations as well.
Yep.
How do low non-clinical volunteer hours come across to AdComs? Might not come across at all because it might not meet their minimum threshold.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah. I think second to clinical hours, clinical experience, we see non-clinical volunteer hours being maybe second most important to a lot of schools. This is where you're demonstrating that you are service oriented, that you are someone that is willing to give up your time and give of yourself for helping others. So for some, this may not be enough to pass kind of the filter, if you will. For others, they may not care as much about those non-clinical hours, but we consistently see that these hours, this experience rather, does matter.
Yep.
Yep.
I like this question. This comes up every once in a while when students are like, hey, I'm a scrub tech. Mostly fun question. Does it still count as clinical or patient hours if it's in the OR and the patients are always unconscious? Yeah. Thoughts on what's your interpretation of that as clinical experience?
I mean, it is medical clinical experience, right? Like you are in an OR and you are doing a clinical job. But the question of, is there a potential hindrance that you're not interacting with folks who are conscious? And so my question would be, do you know you like working with patients who are awake? Or do you only like them when they're sleeping and can't talk back or give you anything?
Yeah.
So I would say let's supplement this with some direct patient experience with folks who are awake and conscious. But that doesn't negate this experience. I think this is still valuable clinical experience.
Yep. Question from Instagram. What's a normal cutoff for non-clinical volunteer hours at a lot of schools? There's no number.
Yeah.
I know a couple off the top of my head are 100, 150, but it just, just depends.
Yeah, and again, you don't want to hit a cutoff. You want to be competitive. That's just the minimum. And if you're focusing on hours, you're just checking boxes.
Yeah. And just because you hit that number doesn't mean you should stop.
Yep.
Last question here we'll throw up. AdCom member recently told me that my application was never opened because of my MCAT score, not significantly lower than what? Is that common across schools? How can you really gauge that prior to applying? Is it common? Yep. Yeah. I mean, yeah, a medical school, Kristen, gets 10,000, 12,000 applications for 100, 200 seats.
Yeah.
They have to do something to screen. I constantly am fighting for more transparency from medical schools and having that conversation and being a part of that conversation. Medical schools have their reason why they're not giving out all of that information of what number, right, in this specific example, what MCAT score will keep an application unread. But it's part of it is on the student to do that research and look at some of the data, even though it's not super transparent.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think the question is how can you really gauge that? So do look to see if they have a minimum score requirement. Some schools will spell that out and say, hey, beyond this threshold, if you fall below this, we're not going to review your application. And at the school I was at, I really pushed to have that information out there because I couldn't in good conscience know that they were applying and on hopes and prayers and hoping that with a 490 they had a chance because we said no minimum, and so I pushed for that. But not every school has that. So then you look at the data that you do have and do the best you can to assess that. Luckily, the MSAR has some really good information that shows kind of the band of acceptance. So the range of acceptance for scores. So you can see where are you falling in relation to, say, the 10th percentile or 25th percentile, and try and draw some information from that. If you're, really far below even the 10th percentile, it's not to say there's not a chance, but it's just your odds do go down just by pure stats.
Yep. All right, friends. Don't forget, check out medicalschoolhq.net. Our new essay AI feedback tool is available. It is free. It is trained on my book, The Personal Statement, Premed Playbook, Guide to the Medical School Personal Statement. It's trained on several thousand, 17,000 data points on feedback that we gave real essays. So go check them out. Check it out. Again, medicalschoolhq.net. Click on that free resources. Kristen, thank you. Hope everyone had fun.
Yes.
We're here almost every single Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, premed.tv. Set your alarms. Make sure you don't miss us. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye.